Being able to look in the mirror and say, I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm confident, and I absolutely love my body feels absolutely amazing. But not too long ago, I've been on the other side of the mirror, and I looked at myself and thought, I really feel underconfident. I don't feel happy. I feel lethargic. I'm really unmotivated. I don't want to work out. And I'm eating really badly. And I'm not in a nice place mentally. So I'm making this video today to share my weight loss journey because I know it will be very useful to you. I also want to tell you from the start that this was my own personal journey. Everybody has a different body, so you're going to respond to different techniques, methods, diets in a different way. But I do hope it's useful. I'll say why I gained weight, my journey itself, and the setbacks I had, and what actually worked. Hi, I'm Jenna Olson, and today I'm getting a little personal to you about how I managed to lose 80 pounds while getting back my mental and physical health. I am not a professional, and I will be talking about things like calorie counting. If you're sensitive to this subject, please do not watch this video. Your mental health is way more important. A little bit of a backstory about myself. I have struggled with my weight my whole life. Growing up, I was always the bigger girl in my class, but initially my weight didn't bother me. Like I said, I was always bigger than people my age, but I have just accepted that that was my normal. I thought there was nothing I could do. But as time went on, I kept gaining more and more weight, and I slowly realized that no longer enjoy going out with friends because I didn't want to have to get in my pajamas and stuff my body in uncomfortable clothes. I was avoiding family gatherings because I didn't want my grandparents to see the way I looked. They invested so much time in raising me well, and even though they never made a single comment on my weight, I felt so ashamed to look them in the eyes. So around comes January 2019, and it's a new year. Everyone's making New Year's resolutions, and I think to myself, why don't I step on the scale? Prior to this, I haven't stepped on the scale in ages because I just wanted to avoid the whole weight conversation and the whole weight topic in general. So I stepped on the scale that day, and I was 196 pounds. It kind of hit me then, and I knew I wanted to make a change. I just remember feeling so guilty that up until that moment, I had treated my body so badly. The only thing on my mind was that 6 months down the line, I didn't want to look back to that moment in time and say to myself, I should have done something then. I got into bed that day, and the first thing I did was whip out my phone and go to YouTube. And yes, initially I was searching things like how to lose weight really fast, how to lose 30 pounds in a month. But the more I watched other people's weight loss journeys, and the more I've learned about their rights and wrongs, I realized this wasn't going to happen in 3 weeks, nor was it 3 months. And that was okay. What I needed was a lifestyle change to get me where I wanted to be. So every single day, I would go on YouTube, Instagram, and even TikTok, and I would look up videos and other things like healthy meal ideas and healthy meal options because I needed to stay focused on my goal. That would be my number one tip for you guys. Use YouTube or Instagram or other social media platforms to keep you motivated because motivation is key. Tip number 2 is portion control. And boy, oh boy, was that hard. The whole reason why I gained weight in the first place was because I just love eating so much. Nothing, and I mean nothing, could make me happier than seeing my plate mounted with a big portion of delicious food that I know I'm going to eat to the last bite. For me, the best way I could control my portions was tracking my calories. And I know calorie counting is a controversial topic, but like I said, I came to the conclusion it really was just the best option for me. Of course, it is really important to be in a calorie deficit, But if the idea of calorie counting scares you, then even keeping a diary of what you're eating in a day is going to be really helpful. I won't be sharing how many calories I stick to in a day because that is different for anyone. It changes depending on your routine and your lifestyle. So my fair advice would be to go on an app or a website and work on your own personal estimate. Tracking my calories really helped me be aware of how much food I was overeating in the past and what I was really putting into my body. That leads us into tip number 3, which is don't cut out food groups, just find alternatives. Only after I started educating myself about nutrition, I realized how far from balanced my diet was. I literally lived off of carbs. So I realized it wasn't going to be sustainable to cut carbs completely out of my life because I would have been miserable. So I started experimenting and substituting foods with healthier options, which I still really enjoyed. White thick bread, I started swapping out for these nimble breads that are like 50 calories a slice and still really yummy. That led me to the love of my life, which is corn thins. Oh my God, they are delicious and I love them. My whole family does. And in fact, I don't think we buy bread anymore because everyone just loves them so much. Protein bars are also a good alternative. Whether I would crave a cookie or a muffin, I would start going in for a protein bar instead. They are amazing. Pasta. Out with regular pasta, in with brown pasta. And the same goes for rice. And for those times I would want to snack something while watching Netflix, I would go for Halo Tops now instead of going for my regular Ben & Jerry's. Switching out to Halo Tops made it feel like I was cheating when I really wasn't. Just experiment and find options that you can substitute that you still enjoy. Tip number 4 is using a smaller plate. Now I know this sounds silly, but trust me, this is a small but mighty tip. Switching to a smaller plate automatically cuts down how much food you're eating because how much more food can you really fit on a small plate? But the thing is that it still looks like a load of food. So with me, I was still happy because I saw loads of food on my plate, but I was also cutting the calories I was eating, and in my book, that's a win-win. Tip number 5 is perceived volume. Greens and veggies have so much more volume to the same amount of calories. So what I was doing was filling my stomach with veggies and using carbs as a topping. For example, instead of having a big portion of pasta, I would have a big portion of salad topped with pasta. So it felt like I was having a huge portion and I was still really full after my meal. But what actually happened was I was cutting down the calories without even realizing. Tip number 6, water, water, water. Now, yes, I know this sounds like a cliche, but I've tried it and it's true. Sometimes when I started to feel like I was hungry, instead of going to the fridge for a snack, what I would do was have some water. Give myself 15 or 20 minutes, and usually that hunger feeling would go down because I was actually just thirsty. If I was still hungry after the 20 minutes, then of course I'm going to eat. But like I said, usually I was just thirsty. Tip number 7, sharing food. For me, that was a game changer. Before, I never shared food. I would actually prefer eating alone just to make sure no one disturbed me or asked me for some of my food. If someone asked for a bite, I would get so mad because I just hated sharing my food. It was mine. But all this time sharing was a benefit for me. So those times when I craved a cheesesteak or a brownie, what I would do is, yes, I would let myself indulge every now and then. But I would get one and I would share it with someone, and usually that was my boyfriend. But yes, sharing just helped me satisfy my sweet tooth whilst cutting down some of the calories that I would have been having previously. Tip number 8 is to find a good dietary supplement that helped a lot with digestion and absorption. Now, this had me really fix up my digestion because before, it was a mess. Did you know that the first reason for uncontrollable cravings is a damaged gut flora? How do I know? Because there are now thousands of studies out there that prove it. Just like this one released by King's College in England from their Advanced Nutritional Science Department. In this study, they took 3,600 twins to find out why some of them were overweight. They used twins to rule out genetic factors. So, what did they discover? To their amazement, it had less to do with how much people ate or what they ate, or even how much they exercised that determined how overweight they were. Instead, it was the presence of certain bacteria in their gut flora who dictated their weight. For me, the moment I introduced Tropilean in my diet was a complete game changer. It contains the unique mix of leaf, roots, and algae-rich and natural probiotics that holds the power to boost your digestion and make sure you absorb all the nutrients your body needs from the foods you eat. The more nutrients you absorb from the foods you eat, the less food your body asks for, and the less cravings that you have. This supplement has a lot of beneficial ingredients, like probiotics, turmeric root, MCT oil, and so on that work together in a process called nutritional synergy. Nutritional synergy is the incredible trait of some superfoods that makes the combination between them have a greater effect than if you take each of them alone. It's actually a new thing. Scientists are just discovering how to use it best. The natural nutrients found in Tropilean are the only ones resistant to stomach acids and bile, able to repair and boost your gut flora. A probiotic won't do any good if it's eaten up by the natural enzymes in your stomach. It needs to be alive and active by the time it hits your intestinal tract. That's why Tropilean is engineered to be resistant to stomach acids and bile, allowing it to penetrate the entire digestive system. It also contains the highest dose of vitamin C available without prescription, which acts like a protective barrier for your stomach. A bottle of Tropilean that supplies you for 1 month comes with the prices of $69, but they have discounts for 3 and 6 bottle packages. I could talk about the benefits that Tropilean has all day long. You know those lucky people blessed with a great metabolism that can eat an elephant a day and still look their best and never get bloated? Tropilean is like you'd have a sip of their inborn luck. My immune system is boosted. My bloating has reduced to almost 0, and I'm in a mood to get out more. And it's easier to make friends and connections. Life seems definitely more enjoyable. That's it, really. That's all I've done. I didn't kill myself at the gym trying to burn off calories or stick to a really hard diet that was going to make me feel miserable. I just tried to change my habits that I already had in my routine that was going to lead me to a lifestyle change that was going to lead to my weight loss. Now, in January 2020, I weighed in at 125 pounds, so I had lost about 30% of my body weight. And honestly, it was the best thing I could have done for myself, both physically and mentally. The outcome is so worth it. So please just stick to it, guys. Stay motivated. And I'm pretty sure if I could do it, then anyone else can. If you've made it this far with the video, thank you so much for watching. And if you have any questions, I would love to read them all in my email. I will leave you the link for Tropilean below and hope you'll do yourself a favor and get it while the stock lasts, because they're often sold out. Hit the buy now button and let's push this video out to millions of people who are in the same position I was in back in January 2019. Thanks for watching and God bless you all. Lots of love, Jenna.